ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We are reading from the book Meditation and Spiritual Life by Swami Yatiswarananda. We are currently in chapter 34 titled Footprints on the Sands of Time, which is all about saints from different regions of India. We are now about to begin on a fairly long section titled Saints of North India. We will not complete this section in one reading, but it will probably be over two readings. Saints of North India. The first great saint who inaugurated the Bhakti movement in North India in the 13th century as a reaction to the political conquest of India by the Muslims was Ramananda. He was born in Allahabad, but his ancestors had come from South India. He was a child prodigy and mastered the scriptures at an early age. He joined the Sri Vaishnava order of monks and became a disciple of Raghavananda, a well-known leader of that order. He went on a pilgrimage that took him all over South India. On his return, the Vaishnava monks under Raghavananda refused to admit him into their fold, as they thought that he could not have adhered to the strict rules of the order, especially those regarding food during his travels. This was a huge root shock to Ramananda, who thenceforth led an independent life and became more liberal in his views about caste, etc. In fact, the most famous saying ascribed to him is, "Let no one ask a man's caste or with whom he eats." If a man is devoted to Hari, he becomes Hari's own. जाति पाति पूछई नहीं कोई, हरि को भजे सो हरि का होए. This is from Ramananda to Ramatirtha, second edition, page 3. जाति पाति पूछई न कोई, हरि को भजे सो हरि का होई. He lived in a hut on the banks of the Ganga at Banaras and practiced intense austerities and meditation. 4 times a day he came out of his hut and blew a conch shell. For the Hindu religious culture of North India, which was then facing the challenge of Islamic supremacy, the clarion call of Ramananda came as a new message of hope. Disciples began to come to him from far and near. They included Hindus and Muslims. Among them were the great saints Kabir, Ravidas, and Dhanna, and several women. Ramananda identified Rama with the Supreme Spirit and looked upon humanity as one family. He gave up the distinctions of caste and religion and paved the way for a unique blending of Hindu and Islamic piety in India in the later centuries. He did vigorous preaching, but only very few of his poems or other literary works have survived. A single poem of his is recorded in the Granth Sahib of Sikhs, and it reveals the breadth of his vision. Where shall I go? The music and the festivity are in my own house. My heart does not wish to move. My mind has folded its wings and is still. One day my heart was filled to overflowing, and I had an inclination to go with sandal and other perfumes to offer my worship to Brahman. But the Guru revealed that Brahman was in my own heart. Wherever I go, I see only water and stones worshipped. But it is thou who hast filled them all with thy presence. They all seek thee in vain among the Vedas. If thou art not to be found here, we must go and see thee there. My own true Guru, thou hast put an end to all my failures and illusions. Blessed art thou. Ramananda is lost in his master Brahman. It is the word of the Guru that destroys all the million bonds of action. So this is quoted in the Cultural Heritage of India, Volume 4, page 379. According to Dr. Grierson, Ramananda was born in AD 1299 and died in AD 1410. This would give him a life of 111 years. Though Ramananda was the fountainhead of the Hindu religious revival in North India, his message of simple devotion and social equality spread all over North India, mainly through the songs of Kabir. There is much uncertainty regarding Kabir's year of birth. However, his influence dominated the 15th century at a time when Hindus and Muslims were trying to get adjusted to each other's religious beliefs and practices. He was either a real or adopted son of Muslim parents who were weavers living in Banaras. These poor weavers had formerly been Hindus and had a low social status in the eyes of both Hindus and Muslims. Naturally, they were free from the burden of religious traditions and disciplines. Kabir grew up in this unconventional society which influenced all his poems. He did not have a regular schooling or training in philosophy. He was married and had a son and a daughter. It is said that his domestic life, like that of Tukaram, was not a happy one. He earned his living by weaving and composed his poems while plying the shuttle. For a long time, he did not have a guru. He had heard about Ramananda but was afraid that the great saint might not accept him as his disciple. So he hit upon a plan. He knew that Ramananda went for bath in the Ganga every day, very early in the morning. One day he went and lay down on one of the steps leading to the river. When the saint came, he did not notice the man in the darkness and his foot touched his body. Taken aback, Ramananda exclaimed, "Ram, Ram!" Immediately Kabir stood up and with folded palms addressed the saint, "Master, you have given me the mantra and thereby have made me your disciple, even though I am only a poor Muslim weaver." Deeply moved by the man's devotion and humility, Ramananda accepted him as a disciple and revealed to him the secrets of spiritual life. Thenceforth, Kabir lived a God-intoxicated life. The normal duties of life did not prevent him from constantly singing God's praise and remembering Him. He had to pass through the anguish of waiting for God's vision, which all the great mystics had experienced. But in the end, he attained illumination. He had Muslims and Hindus among his large following. His unconventional ways, his preaching of God to all peoples alike, and his criticism of the superficialities of and religiosity of Purohits and Mullahs enraged the Orthodox Hindus and Muslims alike. He was persecuted and finally banished from Banaras. The rest of his life was spent, it is said, in wandering from place to place along with his followers. He lived up to a ripe old age. According to a legend, after his death, his Hindu and Muslim followers quarreled about how to dispose of the body, but when they lifted the shroud, found only a heap of flowers beneath. Kabir's songs have a strong moralizing vein in them. He stressed simplicity of life, manual labor, equality of man, and he condemned religious bigotry in no uncertain terms. Like his Guru Ramananda, he laid great stress on the chanting of the name, which he identified with God himself. God for him was the all-pervading Supreme Spirit, who is immanent in all beings and transcends all forms. At the same time, God is the soul's eternal beloved, who can be known only through pure love for him. He had no use for rituals and philosophical doctrines. For him, Ram and Rahim refer to the same Supreme Spirit. He condemned the blind worship of images in temples and the superficial devotions in mosques. What everyone ought to do was to seek him in the depths of his heart. One of his poems says, "If God dwells only in the mosque, to whom belong the rest of the country? They who are called Hindus say that God dwelleth in an idol. I see not truth in either sect. O God, whether Allah or Ram, I live by thy name. O Lord, show kindness unto me. Hari dwelleth in the south. Allah has his place in the west. Search in thy heart, search in the heart of hearts. There is his place and abode." This is again quoted in Ramananda to Ramatirtha, page 18. Kabir laid great stress on the constant remembrance of the divine. In the following poem, we get an idea of his sadhana and realization. O Sadhu, the simple union is best. Since the day when I met my Lord, there has been no end to the sport of our love. I shut not my eyes, I close not my ears, I do not mortify my body. I see with eyes open and smile, and behold his beauty everywhere. I utter his name, and whatever I see reminds me of him. Whatever I do, it becomes his worship. The rising and the setting are one to me. All contradictions are solved. Wherever I go, I move around him. All I achieve is his service. When I lie down, I lie prostrate at his feet. He is the only adorable one to me. I have none other. My tongue has left off impure words. It sings his glory day and night. Whether I rise or sit down, I can never forget him, for the rhythm of his music beats in my ears. Kabir says, my heart is frenzied, and I disclose in my soul what is hidden. I am immersed in that one great bliss which transcends all pleasure and pain. Again, this is quoted in Ramananda to Ramatirtha, pages 26 through 27. The songs of Kabir spread among the masses and enabled them to grasp the essentials of true spiritual life. His own simple and God-intoxicated life became an ideal for thousands of people. In him, the Hindus and Muslims found a common meeting point. His poems profoundly influenced the social outlook and religious beliefs of the people of the entire North India. How deep and wide that influence is can be understood only when you go to South India, where you meet with a different cultural pattern and social attitude. Another great disciple of Ramananda and a senior contemporary of Kabir was Ravidas or Raidas, the cobbler saint of Banaras. Like Kabir, he too lived a householder's life and earned his livelihood by manual labor, making shoes, which is considered one of the lowest professions in Hindu society. Unlike Kabir, his domestic life was peaceful and his verses do not show any harsh criticisms. His songs reveal a highly refined mind, always immersed in the love of God. Though a poor cobbler, the reputation of his sainthood spread far and wide, and he had a large following. His life and teachings are a source of inspiration to millions of people in North India, especially among the poor and the so-called low-caste people. His followers form a separate Vaishnava sect in North India known as Raidasis and are numerically next only to Ramanandis, followers of Ramananda, and Kabir Panthis, followers of Kabir. The next great saint of North India who belonged to the same religious temperament as Ramananda and Kabir was Nanak, from 1469 to 1538, the founder of the Sikh religion. He was born in a village near Lahore in the Punjab in a Kshatriya family. His father was the accountant of the village and also a farmer. Early in boyhood, he was sent to school where he acquired a good knowledge of Hindi and his own native dialect and also the Persian language. Even from childhood days, he showed a deep religious temperament and practiced meditation. Noticing his otherworldly tendencies, his father made him look after the cultivation of his land and also attend to a little trade. But Nanak's whole heart was set on matters spiritual, and in spite of his father's direction to the contrary, he began to devote more time in contemplation. When he came of age, he was married and had 2 children, but he paid little attention to household duties and spent his time in the woods and lonely places. His relatives got him a job under the Muslim governor of the district. His inseparable Muslim companion Mardana joined him there to serve him. Along with a few others, these two used to spend their spare time in bhajan. Finally, Nanak renounced the world, distributed his wealth among the poor, and accompanied by Mardana, began to wander all over North India, practicing contemplation in solitude and meeting holy men. He might have been much influenced by the poems of Kabir and also the new religious awakening in South India. It is said that Nanak even visited Mecca and had discussions with the Muslim divines of Arab countries. After a long absence of 12 years, he returned to the Punjab. It was then that the great Mughal conqueror Babur invaded India. Tradition says that Nanak influenced the emperor much in treating his prisoners with kindness. Towards the close of his family, Nanak gave up the garb of the ascetic and lived with his family. The fame of His Holiness spread in the neighborhood, and people flocked to see him attend his group prayers. The offerings that they brought were spent in the service of the poor. Like Kabir, Nanak preached belief in one non-anthropomorphic but personal God whom he called Hari. Like him again, he gave greater importance to purity of heart than to the knowledge of the scriptures. Both condemned caste restrictions and exhorted people to lead a simple life. Nanak gave great importance to the repetition of the divine name. In his old age, he wrote a long poem called the Japji, which every pious Sikh recites at daybreak. A few lines from it are given below. Of him the one true name is Om, Creator, all-pervading He, devoid of hate and fear, unborn, undying, self-existent Lord. True is the Lord, true is His name, if uttered with endless love. Unceasingly men ask from Him, and from His hands receive rich gifts. What shall we offer in return, that we may in His presence stand? What shall we utter with our lips, which hearing He may love us well? O Nanak, He is realized only through His own grace divine. Who boast of other ways and means, they idle prattlers are and false. So this is from pages 48 through 51 of again Ramananda to Ramatirtha. There is another beautiful song of Nanak which Swami Vivekananda used to sing before his master Sri Ramakrishna. The story goes that when Nanak wanted to enter the temple of Jagannath at Puri in order to witness the Arati, the waving of light before the deity, the priest did not allow him to do it. So he sat outside the temple and composed the following song. Upon the tray of the sky blazed bright, the lamps of sun and moon, like diamonds shine the glittering stars to deck thy wondrous form. The sweet Malaya breeze flows soft, for fragrant incense smoke. The moving air sways to and fro, thy fan before thy holy face. Like gleaming votive lights, the fresh and flowery groves appear. How wonderful thy worship is, O slayer of birth and death! The sacred Om from space arisen is the resounding drum. My mind craves nectar day and night at Hari's lotus feet. O shower the waters of thy grace on thirsty Nanak, blessed Lord, and may thy hallowed name become his everlasting home. So this is from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, translated by Swami Nikhilananda, published in 1974, page 133. Nanak lived and died as a great Hindu saint, but soon after his death his followers, under the leadership of the Sikh gurus, separated themselves from the Hindu fold and started a new religion known as Sikhism. Nanak's influence has been a living force in the Punjab and the bordering states of India even to this day. Next time we'll continue with this section. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.